The Economist is smoking crack.
Is it crack? Is that what you smoke? Do you smoke crack?
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Business Blaze. This one, brought to you by my merch. Brought to you by my merch. This is actually merch for my other channel, but you can buy it through the link below if you want to. I feel a bit weird wearing a t-shirt with my own face on it. I'm looking at myself on my little screen over there. It's a little bit weird, isn't it? I also apologize, I've left this chair here. This, as you all know, is Business Blaze. Obviously, as always, I'm Simon, I read the scripts, Danny writes the scripts, he does all of the hard work, I just show up here and make fun of him. So in this one, it's all very meta because we're looking at how many YouTubers actually make a living doing this. Now, part of the inspiration from this video, this is one of my ideas, is I see, like, they pop up on my YouTube homepage, like, I made this much money from this many views, I make this much a month on YouTube. And I was like, well, this is all great because these are the guys who actually get appearing on the homepage, so obviously they're doing quite well. But I was like, what actual percentage of people actually make this work and actually make a living off it? Because, I don't know, I'm also in this world and I feel like, yeah, loads of people. But then I think about it, it's like, yeah, I knew no one before I started doing this. And now, of course, I know people because it's what I do for a living. Let's begin by sparing a thought for those poor, desperate souls who feel that their last remaining hope in life is to try and become a professional YouTuber. Danny, it's all right. Like, I'll say it's pretty great, to be honest. You've exhausted every other avenue for earning a living wage. You've even tried pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes, shoplifting, light armed robbery, and tabloid journalism. What exactly is light armed robbery? It's like, yeah, we just use knives. But there's only now a dark path left to take. Standing in front of the camera with your shirt untucked. Oh, it is untucked. But it's a t-shirt. I think I can get away with that. Drinking an empty cup of coffee. Well, it's almost empty because I was having a glance through the script and I drank most of the coffee while doing that. And reading out the script from the guy you've got chained to a radiator down in the basement. Danny, we've talked about this. You can't mention this in the script. About a year or two ago, I found myself working on quite a big project for a fashion shopping platform, which, considering my own hopelessly limited knowledge of fashion, was a bit of a joke in itself. I ended up writing thousands, literally thousands of short biographies related to today's top fashion influencers and social media influencers. Does Danny mean thousands of words or thousands of biographies? Good God, that sounds horrible. I cannot imagine anything I care about less. The most interesting thing about putting together the project was that just how many of these people described their primary job as professional YouTuber. I don't even describe myself as a professional YouTuber. I just call myself a YouTuber, to which people's usual response is like, what? I like, you know, YouTube. I make videos on YouTube and they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And then they assume I'm poor. By the end of the project, I was convinced that millions and millions of people around the world must be pulling in some serious money by prancing about on YouTube and advising their legions of devoted followers on the best way to put on high-heeled shoes or apply a bit of lipstick. Dude, I mean, yeah, we're making fun of it, but I watched a video from one of these finance guys. I think it was Graham Stephan, whose channel's great. Like, I'm not even American. Most of what he talks about isn't relevant to me, but I just find like his making fun of people's finances really entertaining. And he was talking about Jeffree Star, who's a beauty guy, and he reckons he made $100 million last year, so we are not messing around. But just too many YouTubers out there are really making a respectable living by doing this stuff. The answer is surprisingly low. Well, to be more accurate, the answer doesn't really exist because Google refused to tell us. And it's also like, I don't know, I would say half my money comes from Google AdSense and the rest comes from sponsorships. Obviously with Business Blaze, it comes from neither because there are no ads on this channel and there are no sponsors, although buy my merch. Oh! My best guess is about 27,493 YouTubers are making a living from this platform. That's remarkably specific, Danny. I've reached their figure by analyzing data, studying pie charts, performing incredibly complicated mathematical equations, rolling a few dice, and harnessing the ancient mystical power of the Mattel Magic 8 Ball. In other words, it may not be absolutely definitive. I would say it's gotta be more than 27,000. Because I would say, like, I've met 100. But then that's at conferences, like big conferences. Oh, who knows? It's really complicated. But then also be browsing YouTube and it'll be like, hey, how-to worlds. And you're like, what is this shit? And then you're like, oh my God, 27 million views on a single video. Holy shit. But by looking at the limited available data, research, and academic studies on YouTube, we certainly know for sure that the percentage of YouTube creators pulling in a living wage from the platform is astoundingly small. This just makes me feel good about myself actually pulling in a living wage doing this. YouTube currently boasts over 2 billion active users, as well as 31 million YouTube channels, more than 500 hours of video uploaded every single minute, and over 1 billion hours of footage is collectively viewed every day. Hey Siri, what's 1 billion hours in years?
I hope you get
YouTube is now the largest search engine and third most visited website in the world, but how many of those 31 million channels managed to grow a big audience? I thought YouTube was the second biggest. I thought it was bigger than Facebook. Yeah, YouTube is second. That is so crazy. Yeah, YouTube is second. Do you know where Facebook is? It's 7th because of Tmail, Baidu, Tencent, QQ, Sohu, which are all Chinese. So it's Google, YouTube, 4 Chinese websites, and then Facebook. That's pretty intense. But how many of those 31 million channels have managed to grow a big audience? Let's first take a look at the number of channels that have managed to attract over 1 million subscribers. This is most definitely not a solid indication of how many channels are earning good money. That's far more complicated, but is a good starting point when considering the percentage of channels that succeed in capturing a massive army of followers. Yeah, and this I imagine we'll get into. Subscribers don't matter. It really doesn't matter. All that matters is views, or watch time, really. According to Social Blade, a platform that tracks social media statistics and analytics with particular emphasis on YouTube, there are around 16,000 channels with over 1 million subscribers. And as any good YouTuber will tell you, you spend significant time on Social Blade. This number seems to be inflating rapidly, as just a couple of years ago, only 2,000 channels had managed to get over 1 million. And I've got 3 of them. Of these 16, if you've just stumbled across Business Blaze and your recommendations, you've never heard of me before, and you're like, what are you talking about, Simon? You got like 40,000 subscribers. This is my smallest channel. Going a little further back down the chain, about 160,000 channels have managed to attract over 100,000 subscribers. I remember when I first started doing this, and I think I got like maybe 10, 20,000 subscribers, and I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and there was a comedy podcast making fun of This American Life called That American Life, and they had this one, and it was based on like some fake university where to get in you needed like 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and I was like, wow. 100,000 subscribers, that's the dream. Then you're like, people make fun of you. That was a while ago. That's a very impressive audience, but of course, it's still a very low percentage of the 31 million channels trying to demand your attention on a very overcrowded platform. If your channel has got over 1 million subscribers, you're clearly in a strong position and must be doing something right. Thanks, Danny. Not with Business Blaze though, are we, mate? We're working on it. I think I said in an early video, the one about climbing Everest, that if I got 10 million subscribers on this channel, I'd go climb Everest, thinking that is absolutely ridiculous. It probably is, but tell a friend. But it's not all about the number of subscribers you attract. In fact, the figure has very little to do with the big picture. Exactly. It's all about views. Well, it's all about ads, really, but whatever. For starters, a big chunk of the most popular channels on YouTube are owned by celebrities who are just building on their existing brand. Stars like Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift may be running highly profitable channels, but it hardly seems right to label them as professional YouTubers. I believe Justin Bieber got started on YouTube, which is cool. Also, Justin Bieber's music's terrible. Like, I'd never really listened to it before. And then I was like, okay, I think it was a podcast. I was talking about it on a podcast. I was like, I'm going to listen to some Justin Bieber. It's really bad. These people have a few other irons in the fire. In Justin Bieber's case, selling music to 12-year-old girls who don't know any better. And so their YouTube fame is just a side product of this. Well, actually, Justin Bieber's fame is a side product of his YouTube fame. And now his YouTube fame, I guess, is a side product of being like a super megastar. They're certainly not making a living from YouTube. Another point to consider is that many of the top channels may not necessarily be posting regular fresh content. They may well boast stacks of subscribers, but the channel isn't considered to be a business venture, and nobody involved is even trying to make any money from it. That's true, there are plenty of channels out there, I don't know, like BBC or whatever, it's like millions of subscribers, but no ads or anything. It's just a hobby that's growing quite popular, or just hobbyists. But I feel like if you got 1 million subscribers on your channel, just turn on the ads. Just get some extra money in the bank. Why not? Also, some of the channels might be very old, and whilst they may still technically have a high number of subscribers, the channel itself has gone very quiet or may even have died altogether. And this is like something I live in fear of. And it's why I start some. People are often like, Simon, why do you start so many channels? Because channels die. Like, there is a lifespan. There are not many channels that were around 10 years ago that are still popular today. They'll have like 7 million subscribers, but they'll put out a new video, get like 10,000 views. That's like 20 quid, $30, maybe? Live in fear of that. It's like the life cycle. Far more importantly, the amount of money you can potentially earn from YouTube isn't directly linked to the size of your channel anyway. A channel with, say, 50,000 devoted subscribers could, in theory, earn much more revenue than a channel with 4 million casual subscribers. I don't know if I agree with that. Like, casual subscribers, 4 million is still a lot. Like, I'd say a lot of, like, you guys on Business Blaze are much more devoted, according to my analytics, but like top 10s today I found out, much more casual subscribers. But still, I'm gonna make a lot more money than someone with 50,000 devoted devoted subscribers. Like this channel, I'd say, has 50,000 or 40,000 devoted subscribers. It doesn't make as much money as those other channels. However, of course, if you've got 50,000 people and they're super into like real estate, that's gonna make you a lot of money because you can be like, hey, buy a real estate course, or whatever. If you sell something or like your merch is super pimped, then you're gonna do well. First channel's audience is likely to stick around for a longer time on each new video that you produce, ideally right into the very end. And that's right. Doesn't matter if you click like or dislike or subscribe or any of that stuff. All that really matters to me is you watch to the end and then ideally watch another Business Blaze video or another one of my videos afterwards. That's all I care about, to be honest. Although you might think that YouTube presents a massive opportunity to start quickly raking in the dollars, it's actually very difficult to start a new channel entirely from scratch. The usual first step to monetizing a YouTube channel is to sign up to the YouTube Partner Program, which delivers payments from video views and advertisements that are served on your page. It's true. However, you can't do this on day one. It's true. This was a bit of a controversy a few years ago. I think a little bit unnecessarily, or then people are like, Simon, you're so privileged. I want to make my money off YouTube. It's like you're making 4 cents. Does it really matter? And they're like, yeah, the 4 cents matters. And I know in order to be eligible for the program, you must have over 1,000 subscribers on your channel and have accumulated 4,000 hours of watch time over the past 12 months. Even then, you don't get an automatic free pass. Your channel will need to be reviewed and approved by Google before you're allowed to start making money. I don't think they do that manually. I think they just like look at the analytics and they're like, jing, approved. I've done it many times, it's not a big deal. The earnings you're likely to make are to be determined by a myriad of different factors, including the number of video views, which advertisers show up on your video, and how many viewers click on advertisements. Yeah, the differences are huge. Like if you're making, I guess, kids content or stuff, the advertising dollars are low. Actually, kids is probably, I don't know with kids, it's complicated. But like, let's just say what I do is low compared to like finance. If you're talking personal finance, your CPMs will be like $15. Even just choosing the right category or niche for your channel is a big consideration. For example, while some comedy and prank channels rack up high views and subscription levels, they don't always tend to attract the best advertisers. Yeah, and this was all fine a few years ago when advertisers didn't really care. Like YouTube would just sell the ads and you could be doing like pranks and stuff and like pretty crazy stuff, and it'd be like, the new Toyota. And now these guys make way less money. There's a great video with David Dobrik, who's, if you don't know who he is, he's like a super popular vlogger. And he was like saying, like, back in the day when it was first, when advertisers less discriminating, he was earning like $250,000 a month. And he was like, yeah, I felt like a drug dealer. And then these changes came along and he made way, way less. And it's like, yeah, YouTube's crazy. It all can go away tomorrow. I live in fear. Apparently, your best hope is to build a channel based around either food reviews, how-to demonstrations, product unwrapping, or animal activities. Yeah, all of those are pretty popular. I don't think I watch any of those. Maybe I watch some unbox therapy, just because I think it's pretty good, but that's about it. Also, there's that. It keeps getting recommended to me, and I've never watched anything like it, so it's gonna be driving crazy views. About someone like Husky Life, where it's just like about a dog, that's it. The problem with these, though, is like, when it's not based on like a personality or like Business Blaze, it's like me and you guys, we're having a good time, and Danny as well, like remotely. Then it's like, it's harder for someone to replace that. It's easier, like if it's just videos of your dog or like unboxing something where it's just your hands, someone will come along and replace you. So you'll be laughing all the way to the bank if you can come up with a channel that demonstrates how to unwrap a box of animal food critics. Ba-da-boom-boom. Buy my merch. I don't know why I got that in there, it just felt appropriate somehow. But one of the most crucial factors of all is engagement. I'm not necessarily talking about likes or comments, but the length of overall time which you hold the attention of your viewers, which is why I'm always banging about watching to the end, guys. There could be something great at the end. There's probably not, but there could be. Your watch time can have a huge impact on how much money you get per 1,000 views and improve your chances of appearing on YouTube's homepage of recommended videos. So, if you make the sort of videos that people tend to switch off after 8 seconds, YouTube won't bother recommending you to users who've enjoyed similar videos in the past, resulting in a lack of fresh exposure to potential new viewers. Hell yes. Super important. Although Google doesn't reveal full details of its payment formula, the amount each channel will get paid for every 1,000 views can vary from as little as 25 cents to as much as $6. Yeah, I'll be very happy with $6. It can go way higher than that, Danny. This works on the principle that advertisers will actually pay Google an average about 18 cents per view, and Google will pay out about 68% of this revenue to the YouTuber displaying the ads. 68%? Is it really so high? I thought it was 55. Oh my god, I'm so shit at business. Anyway, a typical channel can receive about $18 per 1,000 views of an advertisement on their video page, which equates to an average about $3 to $5 per 1,000 views of the actual video. So yeah, this is basically what we're going on about here. Is there's this really complicated way they work it out, like, because they sell the ads, it's based on how many people click on them or watch like over 3 seconds or something like that no one really cares about. All that matters is really the final like effective rate you get, which is that like 25 cents to $6 figure. Again, it's worth stressing that this figure will vary considerably depending on your category, your breed of advertisers, and how many people watch your videos right up until the very end. Hammering that point home. Just to complicate matters even more, all this is just the traditional way of making money from YouTube. There are plenty of other revenue streams to explore. The Economist newspaper reckons that channels with 100,000 subscribers can rake in as much as $12,000 for a sponsored spot. The Economist is smoking crack.
Is it crack? Is that what you smoke? Do you smoke crack?
I wish. A figure which rapidly increases in line with your growing subscribers. So I've got about 6 million subscribers across all my channels. So, according to this, I should be making about $720,000 if I did a post for a sponsor across all of my channels. Big shock. I'm not. I'm not even making anywhere close to that. Economist, like, I like you, but you know, that just feels made up, doesn't it? Although I suppose as much as 12,000. But that is the insane of high end. And it doesn't matter about number of subscribers, it matters about number of views. And then there's the merch! Buy my merch. Even a relatively modest channel with just a few tribe of enthusiastic followers has the potential to make extra bucks by flogging associated merchandise with my face. I really just got this package yesterday with the merch, and I didn't intend to make this video, just this is a happy coincidence. The channel's stats may not look massively impressive to the naked eye, but they could be making a small fortune by selling zebra sex masks and Simon Whistler face masks to a small but devoted audience. I'd love to get one of those latex masks made, you know, where it like, you pull it over your face and it looks like someone. I bet those are wildly expensive to have done though. Maybe I could do a Kickstarter. So the real problem here is that there are no hard numbers. And of course, Google and YouTube are under no obligation to release income rates. It's even very difficult to get a grip on the basic starting points. There may well be 31 million YouTube channels, but does that mean there are 31 million YouTube creators out there? Not at all. Anyone can upload a single fun video of their dog playing with a frisbee and ends up creating a YouTube channel by default. The number of genuine creators who are actually trying to make a successful and popular YouTube channel will naturally just be the tiniest segment of that figure. One of the most revealing studies in recent times came from the German professor Matthias Bartel, who reported that only the top 3.5% of YouTubers' most viewed channels are profitable. What does that even mean? Like the top 3.5% of the top channels? That's extremely ambiguous, Matthias. But even the majority of those pull in a modest advertising revenue of between $12,000 and $16,000 per year, which falls some way short of making a good living. Less than 1% of YouTube's most viewed channels. Again, what does that mean? Are estimated to bring in numbers that could be considered a living wage, but again, we have to factor in that many of those channels will be owned by celebrities in their own right, rather than professional YouTubers. What's a living wage? 35,000? Like, I'd guess in the US? I don't know, I'm really guessing. I think in the UK it'd be like 20-something pounds. I feel like the US is a bit more expensive, so like, obviously it depends where you live, but like $35,000? That's like only 1% of the most viewed channels make that much money. It's possible that I may be well off the mark and Simon may have his own take on this, but I reckon that the number of dedicated professional YouTubers making a responsible living from their work falls somewhere between 9,000 and 45,000. And for now, I'm sticking with my figure of 27,493, but I'm happy to be proved wrong. The bottom line is that growing a successful YouTube channel is incredibly difficult and ambitious. Millions of people will give it a go, and nearly all will fail. The best strategy seems to be rooted in building an audience of loyal viewers who are more likely to give you longer watch time rather than just trying to go for ridiculously high numbers. It's worth bearing in mind that the top 3% of channels account for 90% of YouTube viewing time, so millions of smaller channels are fighting amongst themselves for the remaining crumbs. Sorry guys. A cynic might suggest that chances of turning YouTube into a full-time career are pretty close to zero. Oh no, that's so sad. It's so great. But then I realized I'm insanely lucky. I feel like I accidentally got the cool job Because when I was a kid, it was like, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to be like a TV presenter, and now I literally get to do the cool version of that. But let's end on a positive note. Simon seems to be doing all right from it so far. At the time of writing, the most successful YouTube channel in the world belongs to an American 8-year-old kid called Ryan Kadji, who is currently pulling in $26 million by posting videos of himself unwrapping and playing with new toys, so maybe there's hope for us all. Yeah, no one really knows how much anyone makes. Like, Ryan's Toys Reviews is doing super well, but then there's people like Jeffree Star who are selling an absolute crap ton of product, and there's so much money in that. Like, buy my merch, but also, like, I gotta make a product, man, because that's where the money is. Like, what would you guys buy? I make a series of zebra sex masks? I feel that could be good. Maybe I should get into beauty. Food for thought. Mostly joking. This has been Business Blaze. This one was really close to home. Let me know how you guys liked it. Let me know if you got questions in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Danny, we've talked about this. You can't mention this in the script.